Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I am Stacy Romero, President of the Broussard Chamber of Commerce, and I'm happy to see so many of you here this evening. I'd like to begin our event with the Pledge of Allegiance and an invocation provided by Pastor Gabe Smith of Our Savior's Church. Would you all please stand? I pledge allegiance
Please remain standing and let's bow our heads and go before the Lord in prayer. Father, thank you for this evening. Thank you for this opportunity to hear from these amazing candidates about the plans, God, that they have for our communities. But Father, I ask even above their plans that you would bless them and continue blessing the community of Broussard. That we would be a community that honors you, that honors your great name. And through that, you would continue honoring and blessing this community. We thank you for each and every one of them. Give them the confidence, God, the courage, the boldness that they need to speak from their hearts. In Jesus' name, amen. I'd like to say one more thing before I pass the mic back to Stacy. I'd like to say welcome on behalf of Our Savior's Church. I pastor the campus here, and it's our honor to have you candidates with us and to have all of the guests and all of you watching online. It's our joy and our honor to provide this forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor, not only for beginning this event so reverently, but also to opening your beautiful church to us. When I learned that Acadiana Open Channel so generously offered to live stream this event for us so that we could reach as many community members as possible, I knew we needed a space that could accommodate their needs. I called Pastor Gabe, and he did not hesitate. He said, absolutely, come on, you guys are welcome. So we certainly do appreciate you, Pastor, for opening your space to us and for working so closely with AOC. I do also want to thank AOC for being here tonight and live streaming this event, again, so that people who are on the soccer fields or wherever they are can participate. The Broussard Chamber of Commerce is a non-governmental private entity that exists to serve the businesses in and around Broussard, and everything we do aligns directly with our mission, which is to assist in the growth and development of business. We proudly serve nearly 350 businesses that have chosen to locate in or near the city of Broussard, and it's through our service to them that the Broussard Chamber has become a trusted advocate for its members. It is because of the trust placed in us by our members, many of whom are voters here in the city of Broussard, that we're here this evening. We are committed to providing a platform for voters to make informed decisions as they choose the next group of community leaders in Broussard. The Broussard Chamber of Commerce understands the magnitude, importance, and urgency in identifying the next dynamic leaders of our city. So my team and I have planned this forum as an opportunity for voters to hear directly from the candidates and prepare to make informed decisions at the polls on November 8th. Now let me be clear. While the Broussard Chamber of Commerce exists to serve as a community advocate, at no time or in any way will this organization endorse any one political candidate. We have held true to this tenet and will continue to do so. So simply put, this event is provided as an equal platform for all candidates and as a service for the members of our community. To that end, it should be noted that every mayoral and city council candidate who qualified for the November 8th election was invited in writing to participate this evening, and the questions that will be asked tonight were solicited from the public. I'm pleased to introduce Ms. Bernadette Lee, local radio show host and experienced forum leader, who has agreed to serve as moderator of our event tonight. I'm honored to have someone with so much experience as Ms. Lee does guiding us tonight. She's going to introduce the candidates to you, review the agenda and the guidelines and the rules, and lead tonight's conversation. Please help me welcome Ms. Bernadette Lee.
Thank y'all so much. I'm very honored to do this, and I'm so thankful that so many people turned out for this event. In addition to the chance to be able to host this forum, I'm also excited about the other media representatives who are here, who are also covering this event. Because everything that happens in our community when we get together, whether it's Broussard or Lafayette or Karen Crow, when people come together to listen to candidates, you're actively taking a role in what makes America the greatest country, at least in my opinion. Now, the other thing about this, politics, just like football. We all love football, right? No? Okay, y'all are too quiet. We all love football, right? Hey, that's good. Football is great. Everyone loves it. Politics and dealing with political situations in Louisiana, kind of like football. But let's just remember, this is not full contact, okay? So I know everybody is here this evening to share their thoughts and give their answers to all of this. We would ask candidates that you maybe put away your cell phones if you haven't done so already. These are very easy guidelines that we're going to follow, basically. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes to respond to each question asked of each person. And if you don't fill the 2 minutes, that's okay. You'll be able to see the time clock up there. It's real easy. If you're getting down to 10 seconds left, you'll see a flag that's going to be waved in the back. No rebuttal responses. Just a reminder about that. Each candidate is going to be able to answer the question, and it's just going to be done randomly. In addition to that, we would also remind you that because we're not doing rebuttals, we will allow at the end of all of the questions a chance for each candidate to take about a minute or two just to kind of give their final thoughts and what they see as far as this particular event and any other things you want to add, okay? You ready to get started? All right. Okay, who's nervous? Anybody nervous? It's okay to admit it. All right. It's okay to admit it. That's good. That's good. All right, thank y'all for participating, and obviously, you know, it is a good thing that people are coming together to ask about questions. With the candidates for council, when I call your name and I talk about your district, you can stand if you wouldn't mind. So David Bonin, District 2. We've also got with us this evening District 3, Mark St. Marie. We've got Michael Rabon. I knew I was going to mess it up. No, I practiced 4 times. He is from District 4. Also tonight from District 5, David Forbes. This evening, Jeremy Foco from District 6. Thank you so much for being here. Councilman at Large, Jeff Delahoussaye. Nope, didn't come today. Sorry about that. Ray Gary is here, though, Councilman at Large. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate that. And, of course, we do want to let you know, guys, that over at the end here on each of these sides are stairs. So if you're moving your chair, Mr. Bourque, just be aware of that. I did push my chair back a little bit, too. And as a funny to throw in, I don't know who got this chair for up here, but I think everyone should invest in the company that makes these chairs, most comfortable chairs on the planet. All right, so we're going to get started with our questions in just a second. Want to thank also Mayor Ray Bourque for coming here this evening, and thank you so much. Appreciate that. As far as starting questions and where we're going to go with this, again, it'll just be random. That's how it worked. Nobody got the questions ahead of time. I didn't get the questions ahead of time. I'm just going to take it, right? The first question, we ask the question, and then I'm just going to randomly do this on the sheet of paper. That's the first person to go, and so on and so on. Easy enough to do. When I agree to do these things, there are certain rules that are set ahead of time, and those are the rules, just to make it fair to everybody. All right, as we begin our process for this evening, we will talk about several different questions, and again, you will have the 2 minutes. We will ask you to wrap up in the event that you go a little too long, as you know, we've all definitely want to be here, but we've got a lot of stuff to do. All right, so here is the first question, and I'm just going to randomly pick here. We're going to start with David Forbes. And David, the first question is, what do you see as the role of a city council member, and how can you create more cohesion within the city in that role?
The goal of a city council member is to, first of all, listen to your constituents, hear what they want, and try to fill their needs as best as possible. Whether that's using the Public Works Department or you know, the mayor. You basically just want to go ahead and take care of what they need. You want to be a good listener. And a good councilman should be out and about in his district, definitely on a weekly, if not monthly basis, and making sure that everyone's needs are getting fulfilled so that you can feel like you're doing your job to the best of your ability.
All right, thank you very much. From District 6, Jeremy Foco, I will repeat the question. And we're all kind of sharing microphones too, so just remember, gentlemen, to get very close to those microphones for me. Okay, Jeremy, same question. What do you see as the role of a city council member, and how can you create more cohesion within the city in that role?
Like Mr. Forbes said, I think a good councilman needs to definitely connect with the community and his district. Working with Public Works, working with the mayor, just working with everybody as a team player. The second part of the question is muffled out.
That's okay. How can you create more cohesion within the city in that role? You can't, I'm sorry. Can't, okay, I got it. How can you create more cohesion within the city in that role?
In that role.
Yes, sir.
I think I'm kind of blank right now.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. That just means you're a human being. I think we're all human beings here, huh? All right. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter about party. It just matters that we are people. How about that? That's thank you. Whoever said that, I like you. You're my best friend now. Woo woo. All right. We go next to Ray Gary. Again, the question is, Ray, what do you see as the role of a city council member, and how can you create more cohesion within the city in that role?
I believe we should communicate with the citizens of Broussard a little bit more than normal. Continue working on all these projects that we have in the city is a big thing. And I like working close to the mayor also. I'm on the city council. I've been on the city council for the last 12 years. So I'm dedicated in working with the mayor and the staff of Broussard. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, from District 2, David Bonin. Yes, sir, I'll repeat that. What do you see as the role of a city council member, and how can you create more cohesion within the city in that role?
Well, about a constitution, the job of a councilman is to set the budget, pass resolutions and ordinances, and that's what's written in the Constitution. But when you get down to being personal with people and taking care of their problems and meeting with them, that's what a councilman does in my point of view. That setting a budget and all of the resolutions and ordinances we pass, and that's just a thing that comes with the job. But meeting the people and taking care of their problems is really what I feel a councilman needs to do. Listen to their constituents and don't sugarcoat anything you tell them. Tell them the truth.
Thank you very much. From District 3, Mark St. Marie. Ready for the question? Okay. What do you see as the role of a city council member, and how can you create more cohesion within the city in that role?
First thing I would do is call Mel and Tina. They seem to have the answers to everything. And if not, then I would probably call my engineer, Walter Como, who has been sitting for quite a few years. And, you know, 40 years ago, I was a mayor. That was like when I was 25 years old. Now I'm 65. So the thing is that, you know, I know that I have a lot to bring to Broussard because I've seen the city grow from a 1,500 people town to a 14,000 size city. You know, you have to, in order, I see this word engaged all the time. So in order to be engaged, you actually have to bring something to the table to say you're engaged. I know that, you know, our town is going to continue to grow, and we have to continue building our infrastructure to make sure that we're going to meet the needs of our growth. And that's both in our residential and our commercial aspects. Manufacturing is going to be a great asset to Broussard and our continued growth. And by being your candidate, you can better believe that I got a bag full of engagements to bring to Broussard.
Okay, thank you. Michael Rabon from District Number 4. The question again, sir, what do you see as the role of a city council member, and how can you create more cohesion within the city in that role?
I feel being a councilman, you have to go out to the people and meet their needs. It's important afterwards to have a relationship with them. Try to get involved in what their needs are and help them in the right way. We do have people that in place that are really good. Ms. Tina, Mr. Mel, the mayor, even the council that's with me. We have a job to do, and that's to take care of the citizens of Broussard. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, council members, question number 2. So we'll start this time. Let me just randomly go down the list. Pinpoint to District 3, Mark St. Marie. And Mark, the question is, how should the city of Broussard continue to leverage its financial assets, and what types of projects should take priority?
Repeat that again, please.
Yes.
Your time is echoing.
Is it?
I can't understand what you're saying.
Okay, maybe we can work on that, lower mine a little bit maybe. Okay, how should the city of Broussard continue to leverage its financial assets, and what types of projects should take priority?
That's a very good question. Okay, so, you know, I see that as a developer and a home builder, you know, there's a lot of things that I feel that the city could leverage their assets by building more sewer plant and lift stations closer to our outer areas. Because, you know, there's probably, you know, 3,000 or 4,000 acres out there that's being ready to develop. And I see by putting up some little substations to where it gives a developer a little more time, because, you know, to develop a subdivision, you know, now the land is the least of the costs. It's the development, it's the infrastructure that costs the most. Your water, your sewage, your roads, your lift stations. If Broussard could actually invest into substations that we can pump into in a more located area to be able to capture, because I know of 500 acres right now that want to be developed, but it has to fight either with the city of Youngsville and or Broussard. And by Broussard, by far, is the best because we don't have a sales tax, and we don't have an impact fee that is on every lot. I mean, I want to build a house, and it cost me $4,000 for a 2,000 square foot home. It's ridiculous. So the thing is, Broussard has to continually moving in building an infrastructure to help development come to light. That's my guess.
Thank you. Michael Rabon, District 4. Michael, here's the question again. How should the City of Broussard continue to leverage its financial assets, and what types of projects should take priority?
In my advice, I would think subdivisions, roads, most importantly, drain. No matter how homes you build, if we don't have the drainage to help these people to keep water out of their homes, then we're wasting our time. We have to spend the money, more importantly, water wells. A lot of people complain about the water wells that we have now. Some say the water is not good, some say the water is good. We're getting Lafayette from water from Lafayette. Broussard is supplying some, but we need more water wells. I think if we could spend more money on that, I think we could satisfy a whole lot more people. Thank you.
Thank you. District 5, David Forbes. How should the City of Broussard continue to leverage its financial assets, and what types of projects should take priority?
So as we all know, Broussard is probably one of the fastest growing areas, of course, in the parish, no doubt. So to leverage financials, I think we need to look at infrastructure, we need to look at water, and we need to look at sewage. These are the three main things that I think take precedence overall. You have SafeSource, which is a very large company. I want to say they employ over 700 people. And that factory right there is going to give all these jobs, but you're going to have the infrastructure to give that company what they need to build on. And then moving forward, I think Broussard needs to look at getting more businesses and probably more businesses maybe getting away from the oil and gas industry. The oil and gas industry has been very good to Broussard for a very long time. But there's going to come a time that we're going to need to rely on other sources of income for the city. So that's what I have to say on that.
Thank you. District 6, Jeremy Foco. How should the City of Broussard continue to leverage its financial assets, and what types of projects should take priority?
As a commercial contractor, obviously infrastructure is a big thing. Infrastructure is what invites all these businesses to Broussard. And as a contractor, I'm here to tell you, we are business friendly over here. Some of the permitting processes in other municipalities, it's a little tough, but we're definitely business friendly over here and invite businesses and make it easy for them to come spend their money over here. I think that's very, very important. Back to the infrastructure. There's some parts of Broussard that hadn't been touched in 50 years. It can't accept new growth. So I think that's real important in the old part, especially in David's district, you know, to accept some of this new stuff. I noticed a lot of apartments, a lot of housing coming up, multiple dwelling housing. A lot of those streets in the old part of town, I grew up on St. Jean Street. I think Mayor Bourque said when they changed that box culvert, it hadn't been touched in 50 years? I'm 52 years old. I don't ever remember nothing on Main Street ever being done. So I think that's real critical that we update all the old infrastructure and utilize our resources and keep it a business-friendly community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gary, how should the City of Broussard continue to leverage its financial assets, and what types of projects should take priority?
First of all, I think infrastructure, like everyone else said, is the biggest part. I've been working on drainage, which is a big P of mine, and we are working on it. We have a great engineer that's taking care of that, making sure we keep up with the demands that we have here. I mean, it's a everlasting, never finished job. And you're right, Jeremy. On Main Street here in Broussard, those culverts have never been touched in over 50 or 60 years, and it's time we get it done. So I'm looking forward to being part of that also. Bringing new business, like everyone said, is a big thing. And we are friendly. I mean, it's so easy to get anything in Broussard. We help you out with whatever it takes. So that's all I get to say.
Thank you. Okay, District 2, David Bonin, how should the City of Broussard continue to leverage its financial assets, and what types of projects should take priority?
Well, without a good fire department and a police department, I'm the head of the drainage committee, so I'm kind of prejudiced there, but I believe a fire department and a police department has to be funded fully. You have to be protected from fire. You have to be protected from crime. And after that, drainage, you know me, I want to fix the drainage. The infrastructure, like everybody says, they've been here as long as me. It hasn't been touched in our lifetime. It's expensive to do that too. And that's about it.
All right, thank you. So earlier, I did speak about how close we are to the steps here, and Mayor Bourque is over there on the other side, and I feel like I'm so far away. But so if I would like to start asking some questions of the mayor, so I thought we'd kind of do that a little bit too. If that sounds all right with you. So Mr. Bourque, for you, what is the #1 issue facing Broussard, and what steps would you take to address this issue?
For me, the #1 issue that Broussard is facing today is keeping up with our rapid growth. We've invested for the last 4 years in initiatives to make sure that our economy is healthy, that our city is safe. Today we are the 7th safest city in Louisiana. Very proud of that. We've built out infrastructure, we've opened roads, we've created partnerships, we've laid the groundwork for the next level of success for our city. And that success comes from partnerships we build with people within our community, within our parish, within our state. We need all of these to raise the bar on what success can look like in Broussard. And I would dare to say that today Broussard is in maybe the best position than I've ever known since I've been here. Our population is greater than it's ever been. Our business community is more numerous than it's ever been. We're safer than we've ever been. Our revenues are higher than they've ever been, but with that success comes the challenge of making sure that we're paying attention to what's happening to us every day. So we have to focus on that growth. We have to stay ahead of inflation. We have to make sure there are opportunities in Broussard for not only our residents, but our businesses to be successful. And that is the mission for the city administration, to make sure we provide those services and we provide those opportunities. But all parts must work together to raise the bar of success. And that potentially is our biggest challenge. What we're doing is working, and we have to stay mindful of where we are today, evaluate what our population needs and wants, and how do we take the next step for Broussard's future and to be prosperous in our city. But it all starts with being a healthy city and uniting people and bringing them together and having them have pride, civic pride, and the want and the intent to be part of where our city is going. So to me, it's our next biggest challenge is to make sure that we're working together to raise the bar. Thank you.
Mayor, question #2 for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So how would you characterize the community's business friendliness, if you will? And what changes, if any, would you make to encourage business growth and development?
Well, I believe our business-friendly attitude could be framed this way. Broussard is a place where we say thank you for being here, whether that's a resident or a business. And dozens and dozens of times people have commented to me, I have never heard that before, that someone, a mayor, is thanking me for investing in this city. But if we're going to talk about businesses, I think the right path is to stay where we are, no property tax. That helps us sell the city. That is part of our competitive advantage, to make sure that our Public Works Department and our procedures at City Hall are serving the community. A lack of bureaucracy is more of a customer service mentality is where Broussard is and where we must remain. But also investing in economic initiatives, which we have done so much of in the last 4 years. And Broussard is thriving, and it's no accident. We have invested in certified sites. 5 of the 7 in Lafayette Parish are here in Broussard. The very first one is the home of the Safe Source Direct PPE plant. They're employing 800 people today. They bought that property less than 2 years ago. 4 more certified sites. Yesterday, we announced the Broussard Retail Ready initiative to try to attract more restaurants and retailers. We are the 47th development-ready community in the state. We are the 7th safest city in the state. All of these things, our partnerships with our Chamber of Commerce, our Economic Development Board, LED at the state level, Lafayette Economic Development Authority at the parish level. This is how we bring opportunity to the city of Broussard. We focus on solutions. We do things that get us noticed. We carry ourselves with a mentality that is inviting for people to invest here, and we charge them less taxes. This is how you get noticed. This is the path we have been on, and this is where we need to stay. And I'm very proud of the work we've done in Broussard. It has not been alone. It's been with partnership of a lot of other organizations and people. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mayor. All right, council members, or soon to be, maybe, folks who are up here running for a council seat, let's go back to some of y'all's questions. I'm going to start with Jeremy first on this one. Mr. Foco, if elected, you will represent a specific district in the city of Broussard. So you'll have a specific district that you'll be representing. How will you balance the needs of your district's constituents with the overall needs of the city?
So the overall needs of my district?
Yeah, how are you going to balance the needs of your district and the overall needs of the whole community of Broussard?
So the first thing, the needs of my district. You know, the town's full of nice sidewalks all up and down Morgan Street. We have a brand new school that came up on Fairfield. We have a new development coming up right outside of my district in Sable Palms. I think sidewalks in my district on Fairfield is something that we need to strive for. Citywide, something that I would like to do, again, as a commercial contractor, and we're going to talk about Bonet's favorite subject, drainage. When developers come in here and they do a subdivision, no matter where it's at, the drainage is a big thing. They spend a lot of money drawing and designing it. They spend a lot of money executing the project with a contractor. So with that being said, once these subdivisions are done, the drainage features are inspected. On the other hand, me as a commercial contractor, we come in, spending not the same amount of money, but my client spends money on drainage features, then they pay me to go install them. When I finish the project, my building has a final inspection with the city. It has a final inspection with the fire marshal. I have no final inspections on drainage, and through the years, I see some guys, I don't want to call it cheat, but just let's say go around the edges on doing the proper things. So my point is, when these drainage features aren't installed, the contractor could be hurting the client itself or the client's neighbor. And over time, with all this rapid growth, I just think it'll become a problem. So that's one thing that I think I need to bring to the city if elected. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Foco. Appreciate it. And Mr. Gary, because you're an at-large candidate, this question doesn't apply to you, but I just wanted to be able to say your name so I could say, don't feel left out on this one, okay? That's okay? Yeah.
Fine.
All right. Okay, we'll go to District 2, David Bonin, same question. If you're elected, you're going to represent a specific district in the city of Broussard. So how do you balance the needs of your district's constituents with the overall needs of the city?
It's a good question, because Mel's told me many times that he has other districts to see to besides District 2. I'm kind of prejudiced to the downtown, old part of town. That's where I grew up. But drainage does not stay in one district. Drainage crosses district lines, and you have to look at drainage, excuse me, as a whole, for the whole city. It doesn't stop at the specific line and turn around and say, we're not gonna cross the line. It goes downhill. And that's how Mel's kind of trained me to look at the rest of the city too. It all has to be looked at equally.
All right, thank you. District 3, Mark St. Murray. The question, if elected, you're going to represent a specific district in the city of Broussard. So how do you balance the needs of the constituents of that district and with the overall needs of this city?
I was trying to read your lips, but I couldn't. So could you have to repeat it again?
Would you like it? Yes, absolutely. If elected, you will represent a specific district in the city of Broussard. How will you balance the needs of your district's constituents with the overall needs of the city?
Well, that's a great question, because you know what? I'm already getting calls, and I'm not even the district, the representative. First of all, Lanuvelle Road, which has been a country road forever, and there's no street lights. So the thing is that, you know, an elderly lady that called me up said, man, Mark, we just, you can't see out there. It's pitch dark. So what I did was the best thing that anybody can do, and you counsel, I'll just advise y'all call Mel. I called Mel. Sure enough, Mel says, man, where's it at? Mark said, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to start getting the poll numbers, and all we got to do is fill out an application. He says, I said, well, Mark, you never got a call on this before? He says, no, I sure haven't. I said, well, man, I'm glad I'm saying I'm the first. Can actually say that I put those street lights up. I had something to do with it. And another thing was, our district is suffering with, I think, which I thought was improper drainage, and we had a significant neighborhood that just popped up, and I kind of got sideways with a few neighbors about the metrics of how the drainage would hold the capacity of another 98 homes, because in 2016, you know, I got pretty close. You know, I'm on probably the lowest section of my neighborhood. But thanks to Mallory, number 3, number 4, I haven't met 5 yet, but all them Comos, they had the right way of explaining it to me, to where, you know, the bigger the pond, you know, it takes inches of level, so it took millions of gallons to get to absorb that retention of just throwing the rooftops down and absorbing that extra drainage. So I will meet most of my needs by actually getting the phone call, because I put my name out there, I put my phone number, and when I get a call, if I don't answer it right away, usually I don't answer it right away. I'd rather listen to it first, to give a little thought to it, than to pick up the phone and having somebody that I can't understand in the first place. So the thing is, you know, I will meet the needs of my constituents by listening to them and going out there and finding the answers to the right individuals out there. That's my answer.
Thank you. All right, District 4, Michael Rabon, same question. If elected, you're going to represent a specific district in the city of Broussard. So how will you balance the needs of your district's constituents with the overall needs of the city?
Well, first of all, in the past year or so, we had a grant that fixed a lot of sewage, bust up a lot of roads in the community. A lot of them are asking me, when will we overlay it again? That's one thing I would get done in the city. Second, I have a park that I have to worry about called Ida Park in Broussard. That needs a lot of work for the kids. If we could get the kids out the street, I think we could do a better job with them growing up. Maybe, who knows, maybe putting Broussard on the map one day. But it's gonna take a team effort from all of us. I need your help and to do better things in my district, and I appreciate it. If anybody come up with any good ideas that could help, please contact me and let's work together. Thank you.
Thank you. And District 5, David Forbes. If elected, you will represent a specific district in the city of Broussard. How will you balance the needs of your district's constituents with the overall needs of the city?
So, as Mr. Bonin said, he always likes his district to come first. It would be the same with me. I would, of course, want my district to come first. However, Broussard is one city, so the city itself may need some things. So, you know, first of all, you would have to look at what, okay, well, does it make sense? You know, what does the budget look like? How much do we have to spend on this project that maybe the district is wanting versus, okay, well, how much is this project going to cost for the city? That way, we all may need to vote on and pass. So, you know, with the district coming first, of course, I'm going to be biased. I do know that in order to, one of the needs of my district would be, just as Foco was saying, where we want to put a sidewalk where it would go from Market Eats all the way, call it Morgan Street. That way you have somewhat of a connected city, which is the ultimate goal in the city of Broussard right now. So I believe we would just have to kind of balance everything depending on the budget and look at it from that perspective.
Thank you. We're going to switch to another question for Mayor Ray Bourque, sir. So the question is, if reelected, what are your priorities for the next 4 years?
Priorities for the next 4 years will be similar to our priorities for the last 4 years. The things that are important for Broussard are infrastructure, economic development, safety, and quality of life. Those things combined help to make us a whole community. They help to keep our business, the businesses in Broussard active, encourage more to come, but it helps them to be successful. Growing our infrastructure gives us the opportunity to grow residentially or with more businesses. Focusing on safety of Broussard gives people the confidence to come here or to remain living here. And economic development opportunities invite new businesses into Broussard. Broussard, being a city that does not collect property tax, has to focus on our economic health through inviting new businesses to be here. There are things like St. Julian Park that not only provide a first-class recreational sporting experience for the families and the children of Broussard, but they also do things for our city, like invite visitors into Broussard, which puts customers into the businesses, the retail businesses or the hotels or restaurants in Broussard. What I always like to concentrate on is creating a solution that solves more than one problem. Downtown Broussard is probably the greatest example of that. The redevelopment of downtown Broussard solves about 12 different problems, the biggest of which is 50 and 60-year-old infrastructure. We still have cast iron water lines on Main Street in downtown Broussard. We still have clay sewer lines in downtown Broussard. We have drainage problems. We have a lot to address there. The project that we're currently doing is replacing all of those things, but it's also delivering higher property values for property owners. It's inviting people to invest in downtown. It's instilling civic pride into our community, and it's giving our city the opportunity to have a beautiful downtown, which we all deserve. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, back to our candidates for the council. The next question, randomly, we're going to start at the bottom this time. And this will be for Councilman at Large candidate, Ray Gary. So Ray, the question, what experience and or qualifications do you possess that will be of most value to the council and the city for the next 4 years? Sure. What experience and or qualifications do you have that will be of the most value to the council and the city for the next 4 years?
Well, as being a small businessman, I could see some of the needs that, through my company, that I could use to help the citizens of Broussard. Lost my thought there.
That's okay. That happens to me all the time, too.
Lost my thought.
You got the CRS. We all do. Can't remember stuff.
And I am I'm in a good group here with the Knights of Columbus here in Broussard. I've been there for a while. My father-in-law got me into that a few years, well, 40 years ago, I guess. So that's helped me with more structure. We need a lot here in Broussard, and we're doing well. We have a great staff. We have a great maintenance department that I could help with. Well, I do help. Like I said, I've been a councilman for the past 12 years. And police department, well, yeah, I'll help them too. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you, sir. Okay. What about District 6? Jeremy Foco. Jeremy, what experience and or qualifications do you possess that will be of most value to the council and the city for the next 4 years?
So throughout the years, being a contractor, coming up with my father teaching me, learn a lot of things. Being the most important, being a team player, treating all your subs equally and fair, always being fair with your client. We've developed a pretty good name by doing that. I think that's one of our strong points in our business. Over the years, buying and selling property, doing a little bit of development on the side. We manage a couple of farms throughout a couple of different parishes. So I'm experiencing a wide variety, not only in my field, but a lot of other things that, can pertain to the city of Broussard. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And let's mix it up. We'll go to District 2 candidate, David Bonin. So David, same question to you. What experience and or qualifications do you possess that will be of the most value to the council and the city for the next 4 years?
Well, I'm also a small business operator in Broussard, and that's taught me to be respectful to your customers. The years that I've spent on the council have taught me how government works. I learned a lot. There's a lot, it's complicated. Being humble to your constituents, listening to them, and being honest with them is what I've learned and what I'll bring to the council. I've brought it to the council, and I'll continue to do that.
Thank you. Next up, District 3, Mark St. Marie. what experiences and/or qualifications do you possess that will be of most value to the city and for the council for the next 4 years?
I could tell a pretty good joke every once in a while. No, really and truly, our city has a great culture. And that's one thing that I think that everything you go around anywhere in the world, we're all concerned about our drainage. We're all concerned about sewage and water and, the whole thing. But the thing is, the love that we have for one another as a community has never, ever failed me. I mean, I can call Sheila, Odette, Christine, anybody, and so many people in this room. If we make this an infectious disease of loving one another and sharing our growth and what we could do for each other, everything will help mend each other. The thing is, by coming together with the minds and the hearts, putting these things together is more valuable than anything. At the end of the day, when I'm tired, and man, I run into Johnny Foco in the street, and he said, "Man, what you doing, Mark?" "Oh, man, telling my story," and he could tell me a sadder story. So, boy, it's great to hear every once in a while that you got to humble yourself, because there's always some out there that has a little bit worse than you. So, not only spreading the love, but just our culture as far as for the quality of life that we have built as far as for with Delahoussaye and Broussard had started, 100 years ago, Probably Ray Bourque can give me the math on that, how long Broussard's been in existence. But the thing is it started off as a small community college, just a vision of a man. And, here we are today at 15,000 strong individuals. We just have to all work together and understand that everybody has problems, and just like one district, you don't want to, pass that water on to the next district to make sure it flows all the way down to the Bouffon and the Bayou Basin, So that's what I think what we really need, and that I could bring to the council is some unity and a good joke.
Thank you. All right, District 4, Michael Rabon, what experience and/or qualifications that you possess will be of most value to the council and the city for the next 4 years?
Really being a worker, I'm more concerned about helping my citizens that really have big trees in their yard. They can't cut it, they're too old, they don't have the funds to do the work. I would like to get together with a bunch of guys, form a committee, and help these people. We have to do it together. The city can't do it all for them. I believe in working together, and I think that would be the best way to get some of the jobs done in my district. Thank you.
Thank you. District 5, Mr. Forbes, what experiences and/or qualifications do you possess which would be the most valuable to the council and the city for the next 4 years?
So the main thing in my life growing up that I've learned from my parents is that hard work will always pay off in the long run, and so will honesty. What the oil field taught me in my 20-plus years of service is the same thing. Honesty and integrity will take you a long way in this business. The qualifications that I have for this councilman position is that I work year in and year out with a multi-million-dollar budget. Not only that, but with that experience, I've served on the Planning and Zoning Commission, and that's given me a good bit of insight into what the growth of this city should be. I'm a people person. I will not steer anybody wrong. And I bet anyone in this room that knows me knows I can't tell a lie.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right, candidates for the council, let's do another one, shall we? All right, let's do this. Okay, next question. I think we'll just start. Let's just hit in the middle. There we go. All right, we are going to start. Mark St. Marie from District 3. You get to go first on this one, Mark. Should local government play a role in recruiting and retaining businesses in Broussard? Businesses, recruiting and retaining businesses. Should local government play a role in that?
I quite didn't understand.
That's okay. I know, it's difficult. It seems like it's great for the audience, not so good for y'all, huh?
Come tell me in my ear.
Okay, I'm coming. Look, watch. Wait, that means I have to get up from this comfy chair?
I'm making your job tough. I'm sorry about that.
All right, I'm coming over. Okay. Should local government play a role in recruiting and retaining businesses in Broussard?
Man, that was simple. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, well, it does take good quality government to attract the businesses. Just like we have 5 of the 7. Was it called the safeties or the ready sites? That tells right there what Broussard has done. You know, we have passed up anyone in the state as far as having ready sites ready for manufacturing, any type of businesses. You know, so government, you know, does play a big role in that. And the thing is, you know, you have to have the right people in place to be able to say that, you know, man, I like talking to that guy because, you know what, he made a lot of sense, and, you know, he brought something to the table that, you know, no other city could do this for us. So government does have a good role, and it's good to have a good personable individuals in each one of these seats to make sure that you can convey that message plainly and clearly to where we all are in agreements of what our jobs to do. That's my question. Answer.
Thank you. Okay, Ray Gary, same question, Ray. Do you want me to come over there? I'm in this comfy chair. You want me to come over there, though? Yes. Okay, I love it. Hey, this is fun. I'm getting some exercise this evening. Let's do this. So the question is, should local government play a role in recruiting and retaining businesses in Broussard?
Yes.
There you go. Okay, Jeremy, you next. You heard, did you hear me say that? Same old question. Should local government play a role in, look, I'm going to do my football stance. You ready? Should local government play a role in recruiting and retaining businesses in Broussard?
I'm going to have to say, I think that's the job of the chamber. I think the government should kind of maybe stay out of it. It's more the job of the chamber. They're more neutral. That's just my thoughts on it, my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. How about District 5? Mr. Forbes, you want to weigh in on this issue?
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to repeat again?
No, I got it.
All right. All right, Sha.
So in my opinion, I think it is very instrumental that local government maybe plays a part in going in and maybe getting some new businesses. But the second part of it would be to work hand in hand with the chamber in order to retain business. And I think we should also push all of our community in order to keep the businesses, to buy local, and to keep the money in Broussard and keep these businesses here. Thank you.
Any other thoughts? That was good? Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, just checking. Okay, Michael Rabon, District 4. Same question.
I'm like Mr. Ray Gary. Yes.
Short, sweet, and to the point, huh?
You all can't see the same thing.
All right, District 2 candidate David Bonin.
Yes, I think government, the chamber, economic development, like the mayor said, it's not just one entity that has to draw this in. This is a work together kind of thing that nobody can claim victory. It has to be all together. But yes, not just government, but everybody else has to work together with them to draw in business and to keep them here.
All right, thank you. All right, we've got another question ready for Mayor Ray Bourque in our list of questions. So up next, sir, as I'm going through my paperwork here. Aha, I folded it over. Here we go. So Mayor, another question on the list has to do with the experience and qualifications. Your experiences, your qualifications, the ones that you feel you possess, is that the better choice for mayor should you be reelected?
Bernie, I think there's no substitution for experience. I've been serving the city of Broussard for 12 years. I've been a local business owner for 25 years, and I've lived in the city of Broussard for 51 years. I think I have a unique insight on how our city works, the things that are good for it, and a lot of things that are bad for it. I think that I put in the time to understand these things to be the most qualified candidate for this position. And I believe that I waited to the right time in my life before I ran for mayor. I served on the city council for 8 years before I ran for mayor, and I waited till my children were out of high school because I was unwilling to miss lacrosse games and dance competitions. And I have more time now because we're empty nesters, but I could not do what I do without my beautiful wife and her support. So, you know, being successful has a lot to do with timing, I think, and I think that goes the same for our city. The time is right for Broussard, and I've recognized that for a long time. As a councilman, I was able to realize that Broussard was not quite realizing all the opportunities that were available to it because we weren't aligned correctly with a lot of organizations that could lend us assistance. A mayor is ultimately a manager. He's the head administrator of the city. A lot of employees, lot of groups, water department, you know, all of it have to work with the police department, fire department. And what makes a good manager is that you make other people successful. That is what a good manager does. He finds ways to let other people be successful so you can bring the most impact into what you're doing. And that has paid dividends for us in the last 4 years. And I'm very proud, and I can't take credit for anything but that. You know, I try to lead people and let them be successful. Thank you.
Thank you. So, candidates for council, we have one final question. And then after you answer the final question, you each will be given 1 minute, and you'll be able to kind of sum things up on your candidacy and any final thoughts you might have. So first, we'll do again a rotation for this question. And we're going to start this time with David Forbes. Mr. Forbes, what is the #1 issue facing Broussard? And what steps would you take to address the issue?
The #1 issue is the rapid growth of the city and the infrastructure needed to keep up with the growth, in my opinion. So I would work diligently with the other council and the mayor, the Public Works Department, to figure out what we need to do to make things right in order to keep things going, build the city, get everything where it needs to be to move forward, to put Broussard to the next level. And I feel like I'd be a pretty good team player in order to get that done.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bonin, District 2, the same question for you, and that is, what is the #1 issue facing Broussard, and what steps would you take to address this issue?
Well, business is booming in Broussard, and we have to keep up with it. Not just drainage, but streets, the looks of Broussard, keeping it clean, keeping it attractive to business and people to move there, and just keeping it rolling. It's going to be a test, because we've grown now, but we're fixing to grow even more, and the pains are going to be even worse. But we just have to keep up with them, and it's going to come out good in the end if we do that. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, District 4, Michael Rabon, same question. The #1 issue facing Broussard, and what steps you would take to address the issue.
The #1 issue that I have is water wells. It's important to give people good water quality. Not only that, but our highways, we have to keep them in safety positions. We just can't just go out there and look at them and don't do anything. I think right now, working with the mayor, Mr. Mel, our great engineer, Mr. Walter, I think we could do this. We just have to keep working hard. Thank you.
Thank you. And District 3, Mark St. Marie, same question. What you think the #1 issue is facing Broussard, and what steps you would take to address the issue?
Well, I have to agree with Mr. Forbes. The rapid growth of Broussard is probably going to be our biggest concerns for the next 20 years. It will continue to be overwhelming burden on our infrastructure. So I'm the 2022 president of the Acadian Home Builders, and just like Jeremy Foco was talking earlier about, he don't want government involved in my business, and neither do I. And you know, we fight for that on a daily basis, where look, we don't want government getting in and making new regulations, new rules, putting new little fans that cost $150, and manufacturers shoving it down our throat, and they make 300 and 400 million of these things they sell. They're not worried about a 15 fan. They want to sell 300 million of these things. So the thing is, look, I feel with our rapid growth, we're going to have to reach out to not only our parish government, our state government, but we have to go all the way to the federal government to get our grants. We have to get the money, the fair money that we need as taxpayers. We want that back in our pocket, because I pay way too many taxes. Not to see some of that money coming back into the city of Broussard. So, you know, I know, like, back in '82 when I was in city council, you know, we worked with quite a few grant writers that were able to get monies that we didn't even think that was possible. So the thing is, you know, we have to kind of think out of the box, and we have to really see that, look, this one project, you know, I keep going back to sewage, because that's the main thing. I want, like Johnny Foco said, that you want to get that poo-poo out of here. So you've got to have big pockets to get that rolling uphill by pumping it. But the thing is, that's what I feel. Our infrastructure is a very demanding thing for all of South Louisiana because of I think our culture is bringing people here. It's not because of our cool weather, I tell you that. But they are coming here because of the love and that we harvest, but we got to harvest some of that federal money back into Broussard.
Thank you. Councilman at Large candidate Ray Gary, same question. What is the #1 issue facing Broussard, and what steps would you take to address the issue?
My biggest issue is drainage, making sure that funding is there for whatever is needed to take care of that. We've been working on that for the past 4 years, and there's no catching up on this project. Our guys are doing a great job. Engineers are doing a great job. You know, our city is not a little Mayberry town anymore, so I'd like to see it slow down maybe just a little. So I'll try to work on that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And finally, District 6 candidate Jeremy Foco, same question. What is the #1 issue facing Broussard, and what steps would you take to address the issue?
Again, I think drainage, but not drainage within our city. Somebody made a comment earlier that drainage sees no parish lines. I think drainage that touches our unincorporated parts, and I'm going to speak on a particular project that Melvin's very familiar with. I'm not going to say where it's at, but when I started talking to Mel, I was like, man, it's a unincorporated part. We need to get permission, this and that. Permission from the landowners and the city of Lafayette took 6 years. 6 years. My neighbor's pool house flooded for 6 years. The project was completed probably about 3 or 4 months ago, and I've talked to my neighbor, and things have gotten better. I've noticed, you know, water going down dramatically. I periodically check on it. So I think one of my biggest things is working closer with our neighboring governments, especially Lafayette Parish government, Youngsville, and wherever else we might have this particular problem again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, those are the questions that we had to ask you, members of the council. We're going to have one more question for the mayor coming up in just a minute. But first, council members, you each get a minute or two to tell us your final thoughts. Maybe it might be a question about this evening that we have gone over. Maybe it's something that you've talked to constituents about as you've gone door to door, or any other concerns. So what I would like to do is have Michael, you can go first, sir, and just kind of give us your final thoughts, your final wrap up, 1 to 2 minutes of what you would like to tell folks that are watching and that are here with us.
I'd like to tell the folks that are watching here today, this is something beautiful to me. We're coming out to you and letting you know exactly how we feel, pouring out our hearts to you. We are concerned about the citizen of Broussard. We need better relationships with people. I think we could all do this together. I love Broussard, and I ain't planning on going anywhere else. My name is Michael James Rabon. I am running for District 4. I appreciate everyone's help to keep this going. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that so much. Okay, we'll go next to District 2, David Bonin. Mr. Bonin, any final thoughts? You got a minute or two to share anything on your mind, either from tonight or anything else you'd like to talk about in this campaign.
Well, speaking to my constituents, they're all cutting flips about Main Street. I want to see Main Street finished. Bernard Road needs to be finished all the way to 90. I'd like to see some sidewalks on Albertsons Parkway from Morgan Street westward. We have it east from Morgan Street eastward. And infrastructure on the east side of Broussard is a must with the industry coming there. And I'm going to continue funding drainage and road overlays And that can't stop because we're growing so fast that we're gonna build new roads and the old roads have to be fixed. But as being the drainage councilman, the chairman, I've worked for years on improving the drainage. Mel sees me every day. I've always been very active at City Hall. I attend some public work meetings and drainage committee meetings. I'm the chairman, so I better attend them. And you know, it's enjoyable to see things you do come to light and helping people. When I ran on the idea of representing people in the same aspect that I would like to be represented. And that's what I bring to the council, and that's what I bring to my constituents. When they call me, I usually go see them look at the item that they're talking about. I go to City Hall, I find out all the information I can on it, and I'll tell them the truth. The city's not obligated or allowed to do what they want, or we're going to get it done. That's what I brought to the city, and that's what I'm going to keep doing if I'm re-elected. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Next up will be District number 6, Jeremy Foco. Just a minute or two. Wrap up with your final thoughts. Anything you'd like to tell us?
First thing I'd like to say is I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for coming tonight. Y'all all have something in common that we all have in common up here, the love for our city. So with that being said, what I think would benefit District 6 is to maintain the small town core values of Broussard while implementing smart growth principles as the city continues to grow. Speaking to residents, the trend of their concerns center around whether the budget and ordinances benefit them. My goal as an elected official is to act as a link between the city and my constituents by listening to their concerns and ultimately delivering solutions that will benefit both the city and its citizens. The key to a successful future is supporting commercial growth to bring in capital investment and jobs into our community. Through my experience as a lifelong resident and construction business owner in Broussard, I'm able to recognize solutions to further the city's planning goals and contribute to the growth of our community by focusing on what matters, the people. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up, District 5, David Forbes.
So, I grew up in Broussard, one block from City Hall. I've always been surrounded by city workers, members of the police department, council, even mayor back then. So growing up in that little circle where you're kind of always surrounded by them, and you look to the future and say, boy, I sure would like to be in their shoes and be a part of the city. So, you know, as a kid growing up in Broussard, the quality of life was excellent. And that's what I want to do for District 5. I would like to ensure that they have the same quality of life that I had growing up in this city. Now, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone that loves this city more than me, and I'm sure everybody else in here, right? Everybody loves this city. But it's always been right here. So, but District 5 is the largest and fastest growing residential district in the city. It's also home to a lot of young families within the community. It is for this reason that I will work hard to sustain the quality of life for all residents in the district. I will also support any and all infrastructure improvements that are needed in this fast-growing area. I also believe in a connected city along with parks and recreation. I've gone through what's qualified me. My experience with a multi-million-dollar budget, year in and year out, with a pretty renowned oil and gas company. And by serving on the Planning and Zoning Committee, I believe that qualifies me as well. But growing up and watching Broussard go from a one red light town to a city with a population of over 14,000 is nothing short of incredible. We're absolutely fortunate to be in such a place. With voter support on November 8th, I would be honored to be a part in taking District 5 as well as the city of Broussard to the next level. There is no better time, and the choice is clear. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Ray Gary, Councilman at Large, tell us what's on your mind. Your 1 to 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you. Being a city councilman for District 6 for the past 12 years has provided me with a lot of knowledge of the inner working of what it takes to run a city. I have always had a servant's heart. Growing up as an altar boy, I continued that service throughout my adult life. I love my God, my family, and the people of Broussard. I ask for your support to continue doing so. I would like to thank the Chamber and our Savior's Church for hosting this forum. As your future councilman at large, I'm committed to listening to all of you. I have proven ability to collaborate with our city staff, mayor, and other councilmen, councilwomen. I'm asking for your support on November 8th because Broussard matters. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of the Chamber of Commerce and everyone here, also the audience that is being, able to access this on AOC, to all of you folks joining us here on this stage and showing up for this event, thank y'all so much. We really do appreciate it. I think it's supremely important to everything that we do. It's good that you showed up, you suited up, and you are ready to tackle the issues. Thank you. We have, y'all can give them a round of applause. We have one final question for the mayor, and then the mayor is also going to get a minute or two. Yes, sir, just 1 second, and he'll be able to wrap up. And it'll be a familiar question for the mayor because we asked it of the folks running for council. Yes, sir. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't get to give him a final thought.
Oh, did we miss? I thought you gave you, listen.
Lucky I was thinking.
It's a good thing one of us is paying attention.
Well,
if we played tic-tac-toe, I would have lost and you would have won. Take it away.
I prepared a whole sheet. I need
Well, you know what? I get the big buzz. All right, take your minute to 2 minutes. It's getting hot.
Well, by foremost, I would like to thank my wife, Cindy, for allowing me to run. Because after 2006 run against Charlie Longanay, she said, no more. So, and I told her the conditions and the reason why I wanted to run. And she walks the doors with me, and I want to thank you, Cindy. I'm the fifth of 7 children, and I have a learning disability. I have ADD, HADD, and a few other choice letters in there. But, growing up, I was always, so involved in Broussard. And, I remember going back to the old pig pen where Yuval had his pig pen, and we'd cut down bamboo, and I learned a pole vault, and I ended up, winning state championship at Youngsville Elementary, and as a freshman at Como High School, I jumped 12 feet, not on a bamboo pole, but aluminum pole, stiff pole. But it's just things that Broussard has always done for me. Delahoussaye Broussard was, our founding father. I'm the great-great-grandson of Delahoussaye, and, I'm very proud of that, and I carry that to heart, every thing I've done. I've represented Broussard at a very early age as a boxer. I had 275 amateur fights. I lost 30. That's because I had HDD and I was all over the place, you know, so I had things. I was a professional prize fighter. I was 9-0 with 8 knockouts. I fought twice on ESPN, so there's another choice letter words I was able to accomplish. So, you know, I kept on representing Broussard. Then I was elected city council in 1982. Now, I tell you what, that was quite an experience, being elected at 25 years old. I was pretty adamant about, you know, I was a DJ, I was in the bars first and last and leave, and guess what? People started complaining, need the bars closed down at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I introduced a bill and had it passed. Now, that was not a popular thing to do when you're 25 years old. Matter of fact, we was at Moorville last week. His brother, Greg Bonin, says, yeah, Mark, man, says, I remember when you were the councilman, you did some pretty extraordinary thing. I said, yeah, I closed the bars down at 2. I said, yeah, man, I forgot. I still hate you for that. So, you know, the thing, it wasn't a popular thing, but, you know, we're not up here to be a popular individual. We're here to make our constituents happy and to keep them in a safe environment. Not only that, I think one of the most significant things that I would say that happened in the 1982 thing is we incorporated Broussard all the way to Knight Auto Tools, which is Slimco now. We cut Lafayette off. I was just so happened to be at a party or a fundraiser, and I heard Dudley Straps say that he was going to do that. You know, I went straight to Leroy Miguez, and I said, man, we got a problem. Sure enough, man, we incorporated that area, and we shut Lafayette off, and Broussard is growing, and we blocked him off like that in that particular time. Also, I was, thank you for the chamber, but I was a co-founder of the Broussard Chamber of Commerce. I was one of the first ones with Wendy Abears actually started the Broussard Business Leaders. And we eventually, Kevin Cook and David Bernard, Lloyd Babineau, let's see who else. There's a few guys I can't really think of because I got so many things to tell you about me. So we started the Broussard Chamber of Commerce. So we also, I want to say, is that we hired the DA, Don Landry, as our mayor back in 1982. Quite a few other things we did, but I want to say that I love Broussard. I've always will be the person to say that I'll take the lead. I'll take the front. Give me you got to lead from the front. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Our final question for the mayor is one we had for the council folks too, and then we'll have your own individual 1 to 2 minute wrap up, sir. And that is, should local government play a role in recruiting and retaining businesses in Broussard?
I believe it should, and there's many different ways that can be done. I think it has no choice, to be perfectly frank. Every day we meet with developers or businesses that come into Broussard, or they're looking to come into Broussard, and simply the fact that we smash bureaucracy and we welcome them and we speak to them like we want them to invest in Broussard and show them a path through the red tape to try to attract them, is we're doing our part to make sure that we're trying to bring them to Broussard, to support our Chamber of Commerce, to support our Broussard Economic Development Corporation, to support LEDA and LED, which exist in our parish and state, is us taking the responsibility of bringing businesses into Broussard, to make sure our infrastructure is strong, that we stay committed to not collecting property tax, is the city taking a position that we are bringing businesses into Broussard, to make sure our Public Works Department is serving the needs of the business community as well as the residential community, is taking that same position to be committed to quality of life initiatives so people want to live in Broussard, is taking that same position, because when large companies look at investing in a community, They won't come here if people don't want to live here. They need employees. And if the school system's not good, if your city is not clean, if your infrastructure is not good, if your traffic flow is not strong, then they won't look at you. These are all connected. The city of Broussard is responsible on every level of quality of life for our residents, which is tied to attracting businesses to Broussard. One does not exist without the other. The city exists, the services of the city, to me, are like a machine, and they all the gears must turn together at a pace that makes sense. Our mission is to make sure that when we have one lagging behind the others, we elevate it. We have to constantly reevaluate where we are as a city, where we are as a city administration, to make sure we're giving attention to the most needed part as we continue to plan and focus on long-term wins. So the answer is yes, and we do it in several different ways.
All right, sir, thank you. And your 1 to 2 minutes, wrap up your thoughts and the race, the politics, whatever you want to focus on.
Mark got 4 minutes. We'll keep it at 2. Thank you. So first of all, I'd like to commend the candidates that came tonight. It takes a lot of courage to get up in front of the public and get on TV, and I commend you for that, and all the people that have thrown their names in the ring to run for public service. It's not an easy thing, and but pressure makes leaders, and these kind of experience build the future leaders for Broussard and facing the public. And some of the worst conversations, the hardest conversations I've had with people over the years that I've served the city have been possibly some of the most valuable, where I've learned the most or the greatest impression has been made on me. It's all part of the journey, right? So one thing that I always like to say to people, because for me it's genuine, each and every person in this room is connected to Broussard in some way. You live here, you work here, you own a business here, you invest here. And thank you. That's a choice. You could be anywhere. You could do that in any city. You could do that in any state. But you chose Broussard, and you chose it for a reason. And whatever that reason was a good one, and we want to foster that. We are focused on the health of our city, on the success of our city, and we must be focused on those things. It is truly special to be able to engage with the nonprofits of the city of Broussard, of the church organizations of the city of Broussard, of the groups that are trying to do good works here, the HOAs, the schools, because when we can bring those people together and we can help them to be more successful, we're creating a better Broussard. And most people are eager to be part of a city administration that wants to help them succeed. Broussard is a very special place. I've been lucky to be part of it. I believe that we have a responsibility to the citizens of Broussard. Every one of you deserves to live in a city that is clean, that is safe, that creates opportunities for you to be personally successful, where you can raise a family and you can choose to live and retire. That is not too much to ask out of a city administration. I'll never promise that we won't have problems. That's just not true. We live in the real world. But I can promise that we will rise to the occasion. And whatever that problem is, we're going to face it head on, and we're going to face it with truth and honesty. And we're going to try to make this city the best we can. And we intend to continue the success that we have enjoyed. It's come from hard work. It's come from partnerships. It's come from good planning. And it's come from bringing people together to focus on the common goal of a healthy Broussard. My name is Mayor Ray Bourque, and I hope to continue to be your mayor next term. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. If all of the candidates would just stand up for final applause. Thank you for being here. As the mayor said, it takes a lot of courage to get up on this stage. Also want to let y'all know that Miss Angel Racca, a little bit under the weather. So let's have a couple of, good prayers for her. Gentlemen, thank you once again to the Broussard Chamber. Thank you for asking me to participate in this. To all of you who came here tonight, you gave up your personal time. For those of you that are watching, same thing. But this is how communities get better and better and better. And that's because people suit up and they show up. Thank you all, and good night.